Today I decided to cook donburi. Tasty, quick, and without much effort. This way, we will give the maximum crunchy crust. Lunch is ready. Welcome to Fujiwara Yoshi. Today, I reflected a bit and decided to cook donburi, a popular Japanese fast food. And I'll start with pork. We usually use filet, but I have nothing against tenderloin. In any case, it will be tastier if there isn't too much excess fat. So if you have a choice, it is better to take the parts where there is less fat. Filet is ideal. For one serving, you need a small piece of about 100 grams. Note that many Ukrainians trim the fat around the entire piece. But in Japan, they usually don't cut off all the fat. The most important thing is to make cuts along the fibers. Then the steak will be quite flat after cooking. Now you need to tenderize the meat, but not too hard. Now, salt and pepper. That's enough. Well then, let's prepare Katsudon. Now we will fry it and turn it into tonkatsu. Tonkatsu is a Japanese cutlet. In our country, cutlets are made from a whole piece of meat. In Ukraine, cutlets usually refer to dishes made from ground meat. In our country, it is called menchi katsu. Menchi katsu is a completely separate dish. If you want the recipe, write in the comments, and I will show you how to cook Japanese pork cutlets. We beat an egg for breading. Truthfully, we had a request for tonkatsu preparation. Usually, they are prepared from a thicker piece of pork, which is tenderized and fried in a large amount of oil. This method is not suitable for donburi. The meat will be too tough compared to the egg. Usually for katsudon, it is enough to simply dip the meat in egg and fry it in a pan. But in the case of tonkatsu, I slightly dilute the egg with milk, so the taste becomes better. Now we slightly dredge the meat in flour. Try to shake off the excess. Dip it carefully into the egg, and immediately into panko breadcrumbs. Consider that you have already prepared tonkatsu. All that remains is to deep fry it at a temperature of 160 degrees Celsius for about 3 to 4 minutes. Will be enough. The oil level should be about half the thickness of the cutlet. We heat it up, and in the meantime, we will prepare the vegetables and the sauce. What we have left from the previous recipe is half an onion. Now, the sauce for one portion of donburi. The standard ratio in the sauce is 4 to 1 to 1, where 1 unit is a tablespoon. But these are my measurements. You can adjust the ratio of soy sauce, mirin, and sugar to your liking. You can even change the vegetables according to your preferences. So I urge you to show inventiveness and imagination in the kitchen. And of course, a little handashi. And now we will add sugar, about 1/3 of a tablespoon. When the oil heats up to the required temperature, bubbles will appear around the chopsticks. We won't have to wait long. By the way, I showed this method in detail when we cooked karaage chicken. We need the oil to bubble vigorously around the chopsticks when they are immersed. See, they are already starting to appear. This means that the oil temperature is already close to 160 degrees Celsius. There is another way. Throw a little panko into the hot oil. If it sizzles, you can start frying. What could be simpler? Reduce the heat to medium so the meat doesn't burn. I will reveal a few secrets about tonkatsu. Why hide anything? We are currently preparing the tonkatsu, frying it, and serving it already cooked. But in Japan, specialized tonkatsu restaurants, chef, look where the guest is sitting and cook the tonkatsu not completely, around 90, 92, or 95%. They slice it, and while the dish is being carried to the guest, it manages to finish cooking to 100%. True Japanese professionals think through everything to the smallest detail, and the guest receives piping hot meat. But at home, of course, there is no such necessity. For donburi, we will finish simmering the meat in the sauce. So now you can cook it to 90% and finish cooking it with steam along with the egg. Just a little more and it will be ready. As soon as a crunchy crust appears, you can remove it from the heat. The meat spent a total of about 5 minutes in the pan, although I rarely time things by the clock, so this is an approximate time. It is practically ready. Leave it for another minute to drain the excess oil. Meanwhile, let's attend to the vegetables and sauce we prepared. You might have noticed that for Katsudon, we took exactly the same set of ingredients as for Oyakodon. But in the case of Katsudon, the cutlet itself is quite large, so you can take less onion, mushrooms, or other vegetables. We take eggs again. By the way, with chicken, they often prepare not only Oyakodon but also teriyakudon. And with pork, they usually prepare butadon, where the meat is given a sweet and spicy taste using mirin or tara sauce. But it seems to me that the most famous type of donburi is Gyudon, beef donburi. If you have been to Japan, you might have noticed that it is offered everywhere. Separately, in Gyudon restaurants or in restaurants serving Japanese setsutei shoku. Also, the menu of such establishments definitely includes donburi gyudon. It is almost ready. Less than a minute left. In the meantime, let's deal with the tonkatsu. Like chicken, we cut it into small pieces. Ideally, you want this kind of result. See, there is still a little pink meat in the middle. We simmered the onion for 3 minutes. Now we add the pork to it. Here it is definitely cooked. It seems that donburi has always been around in Japan, but this is a myth. The dish itself is not that old. Donburi is strongly associated with Katsudon, Oyakodon, Gyudon, and similar dishes. These are the main representatives, but such food became common only after the Meiji Restoration. In 1868, the Edo Bakufu, the Sugunata Takugawa, came to an end, and the Meiji Revolution took place. It was then that gunabe first appeared. And later, pork cutlets and other similar dishes became available to ordinary people. Before that, it was forbidden to eat the meat of four-legged animals in Japan. Only birds were allowed. Therefore, donburi could only be dreamed of. After the ban was lifted, such dishes gained immense popularity. For variety, they could place aemano, minced fish, shellfish, or vegetables dressed with sauce. Now there are many types of donburi. I don't even know how many hundreds. A lot. You can't keep track of them all. Well, the meat is completely ready. We pour in the egg exactly like last time. First, try to pour half if possible, pouring from the center. And when the first part of the egg sets, pour in the second part. Look, as soon as you pour the egg in a second time, immediately turn up the heat. The egg should set quickly but remain liquid. See, this is what should happen. Then we turn off the heat and leave it for a minute to finish cooking, with the help of steam. Meanwhile, I will prepare the rice. Note that this is not sushi rice, but ordinary boiled rice. When cooking rice, the standard ratio with water is approximately 1:1 or 1:2. But when preparing rice for sushi, we also add seasoning to it, so we usually take less water, just enough to give up the cooked seasoned rice. But this rice is ready to eat immediately after boiling, so you need to take slightly more water for its preparation, about 10 to 12% more. It is practically ready. The surface has set, and the inside remains slightly liquid. This is how we usually eat it. We transfer it so that the cutlet lies just as beautifully as it did in the pan. We also add nori here, like this. Well, lunch is ready. Thank you very much for watching this video until the end. If you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have comments, questions, or wishes regarding donburi preparation, please leave them below the video. I really want to increase the selection of our video recipes based on your requests and desires, as was the case with donburi. So I hope for your cooperation.
はい、いただきます。